bass in there. I got a ton of aux tracks here. How many do I have? Okay, we have 14 aux tracks. So that means I'm gonna have to literally double everything that I got here. So I'm gonna select all of these aux tracks and I'm gonna hit duplicate, right? So we're gonna duplicate all of these aux tracks. So that way we get 16 aux tracks so that I can easily have enough space to drag in all of these, dragging all of these aux tracks or what have you. Now, here's some power in what I'm doing. I am a proponent of gain staging. I think that's the most important thing when you get a mix. So I have not touched faders. If I go pull up my mix here, everything is at unity. Some people like to start their mix from zero, like they pull all faders down and then they start pushing them up or whatever to see what stuff is doing or whatever. That's one way. It's nothing wrong with that. I actually like to start at unity. You know what I'm saying? Just, I don't know, it's just a thing I do. I'm not saying it's a right or wrong, but I feel like if you can get everything balanced at unity, you know what I mean? Then you got like some headroom to push up, you know, without pushing it past the limit. If you're already hot coming in, it doesn't matter if your fader started at 0 and, you know, if you drop a file that's already 23 plus dB, that's super distorted. But if you drop that file into, you know, a track and it's already +3, +4 over 0, you know what I mean, over unity, and then you push that fader up, it's still gonna be, you're just making something that's loud already louder. So I like to start at unity. That's just me. That's just my method. You know, take it for what it's worth. I think you get a cleaner sound when you can balance things while everything is at unity, and then just build from there and just kind of adjust from there, whether you want to pull, because I'd much rather have to pull something down, you know, a fader down once I'm at unity than have to push it, you know, further or whatever. It's just a thought process or whatever. So that's what I'm doing right now, is actually gain staging. So everything that you're hearing is the template with files dropped in and unity gain. See, like these aux tracks, like this one, this little track is hot. That is, you can see the thickness of that wave. So that joint is just loud. You know what I mean? It's much louder than all of the other aux tracks. So we just bring it down, you know what I mean? See, like the toms are bothering me now, so I'll probably bring those down, right? Especially this floor tom, it's real heavy. And then feel like I got too much verb on the toms, which is fine. Dry them up a little bit. So I'm just kind of playing around with that. The mix to me has to sound good with the files, just seeing it, everything, all faders pushed up at unity gain, everything just has to feel good there, right? And then we can start really, you know what I mean, locking it in. So let's bring in these horns. We got some live horns. These are real horns, all right? These aren't key horns. These are actual, real recorded trumpets and baritones. So that's feeling good. That's feeling good. That's all of the music in there, right? That's all of the music in there. Feels good to me. All of that stuff in there. So that's what I wanted to point out to you guys is that everything is at unity gain. Only thing I touched, I moved the kick trigger down a little bit when I was moving in there. Tom 5 is moved down a little bit. Tom sub is moved down a little bit. Everything, I think I pushed down perk 2 or whatever. Everything else, the bass crush. So I have parallel compression on the bass. That's already set it. All my parallel compression is already always moved down. I never have parallel compression all the way up in the face. Parallel compression, especially on drums, adds some extra texture to the drums. So if I bring in the drums, right, and then we got this parallel compression bus. It's just there for some texture. And it's just a 1176 that's just being smacked. You know what I mean? That's all it is. And it's just there to add in some more attack and transients. And so it's the same thing for everything. I have parallel compression on my drums, on my bass, on my background vocals, on my lead vocals. So there's about 4 parallel compression buses. Everything else, as you can see, is all sitting at unity. Like we ain't messing with anything. So if you see something that's pulled down, it's the BGV crush, that's the lead crush. Everything else is at unity. So the goal for me with mixing is always trying to get a good sound at unity. That's just my game. That's where I can press the space bar, you know what I'm saying, and have a great sound out the gate. That's half the battle. So if you get your gain staging right, get everything blended in, and then the template, you don't have to work as hard, all right? So now on to this particular track that has an interesting dynamic in it, in that with the BGVs, I actually only have one BGV track. That was what was sent to me for this particular song, right? There's one BGV track. One. All right, just one. That was the track we had to work with. You know, at the time, the artist. It's a long story. I'm not gonna like dig all the way deep in there. You know, it's not anything bad or terrible. It's just, hey, they didn't have access to those files, and so we had to work with what we had, and they were recorded decently. Background vocals were recorded really decent. So luckily, I was able to get a really dry recording. So let me see if I can get here and turn off all of the effects on this bus. So if I turn off everything on here in the sends, no delay, no nothing, this is what the BGV sound like. Let me just solo. And we definitely want to bring them stereo. I was lost and feeling low. I had no one that I could turn to. You said, come to me. So they were recorded decently, you know what I'm saying? So they're not bad. So what you're hearing, what you're about to hear, because I don't have all background stacks to load in here, all these stacks of background vocals to load in and really show the panning and all of that stuff and having as much control. But what you're about to hear is basically the BGVs running through the BGV bus. So if I turn everything back on, this is what they sound like with everything loaded in. So let's bring in my BGV sends, all of that stuff back in there. So that's what we have to work with. We work with that. So now that's the BGVs, summed BGVs. Even if I dropped individual BGVs in there, they would still be going through that same bus. You know what I mean? So that's the summed sound. Because on the actual individual tracks, only thing I have is EQ. That's it. Just a low, high pass, low cut, high pass filter up to 100. That's all that's on the channel. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing on all of my background vocal channels. The only thing that I like to do is really just cut some of the mud out. That's it. Cut some of the low end out, and then we mix from the buses. Let's get in here, and we have to do what we have to do with this. So that's what I was given, was a 2-track on the BGVs. There's a whole story behind it that I don't have time to tell, but that's what we got. So this is what we work with. You know what I'm saying? So it's feeling good just right there. I'm doing it the same way I would if I had multiple BGVs on the track. We problem solve. You know what I mean? So I just take that and just, gain stage it to where it feels good in the mix. Let's bring in the lead vocal.
Let's go. Say I can't breathe without you. I can't move without you. Jesus, you're my everything. My everything. Say I can't live without you. Said I can't breathe without you. I can't move without you. You are.
That's the vibe. You know what I mean? I've loaded everything in, got all of the tracks in here, and there's a lot of space in there now. So I can literally start to really work through with the tracks or what have you. You know what I mean? I can really start to do the real mix work in this, which is automating. You know what I mean? So now that I've got everything level, I can literally start going through these tracks now and start getting the blend. Where's the this? What do I want to feel? Listening. Because what I would do next, because this is a process to mixing. This is not something, you're not finishing this mix tonight or in a day if you're mixing. I would literally, after this point, my next point is to solo like buses. So I'd solo the aux and see what's going on in the aux. So I'm gonna listen through the whole song, nothing with aux, and see what am I missing? What did I hear in aux that I didn't hear in the whole sum? What am I missing? What is the aux doing? So I can hear some things in there that need to come up. You know what I mean? There's some leads and some other little things in there that probably need to come up in the mix. So I would go and highlight those things, and then I would bring those things up, gain stage those up first, and then we would work on, I still haven't touched faders yet. I would start working on, and I do the same thing with organ, find those moments, because the organ is doing stuff. And while I'm here on organ, let me show you guys some stuff that's really dope about organ. I got this set up in here. I actually, when I'm mixing in Studio One, I use the native Studio One plugins on organ. So kind of simple EQ kind of going here. And then my two favorite plugins for organ in Studio One are one, this red light distortion. Let me let you hear what this is doing. So if I turn off the distortion, this is what it sounds like. Right? So we turn it back on. Ooh. Look at that. Just a little dirt to add in there. And then I actually, Studio One has this plugin, it's called Rotor. It's their Leslie simulation plugin. So I actually run it through another Leslie sim, right? But I'm not using, like, I'm not turning it on fast. I just leave it on slow or whatever. And because most organists are already flipping back and forth, you know, with the switch or what have you. But what I'm using it is for a couple of things in here that's really, really cool with mixing organ in Studio One. So if I turn it off, this is what it sounds like. So you see what it's doing? It's kind of giving it some more grit and all of that. But here's what's really cool is this distance and position type stuff. It's how you mess with the mic. Sometimes you need to make the organ feel like it's further away and not direct. So this is where this kind of comes in, which is really cool. So now we're more on the bottom. Maybe want to make it more top heavy. Now we're heavy on the top. I like the way that feels. So let's go to where it's organ. So again, without it. Look at that. And then of course you spread how far those mics are spread away. So you can make it wider. So I love the rotor plugin for what it does. And this is a Studio One plugin. This is internal. You probably could do it inside of Logic with maybe I think Logic has a Leslie Sim. You can like attach it's built in, you got the built-in organ one, but I think you can actually load the Leslie up as a plugin as well. So maybe that's something, if you use Logic, you want to experiment with that on your organ tracks. Just drop that in if you're a Logic user. Studio One, you'd probably have to use something like not Studio One, Pro Tools. I don't think they have a Leslie Sim built in. Dale can correct me in the comments if that's the case. But I think that's pretty much the standpoint with that or whatever. So that's some of the things with the template. It's pretty locked in, as you can hear. I'll play it again in a good spot where you can hear this is the raw template. All of my faders are at unity gain. There's no faders have been touched. We're gonna press the space bar.
Said I can't live without. I tried and I can't. You are my everything. Said I can't breathe. You're the air that I breathe. You're every breath I take.
So it feels good just how it is, you know what I mean? Like, and so now the work would be going in and just really getting fine tuned with it, hearing the tracks, making sure that I'm bringing up the perk, or maybe I want the toms to be a little bit more forward, maybe something that's working in, and then that's where I would get into the minutia of digging into the plugins and into the EQs and, you know, pushing stuff here and pushing stuff there and trying to make stuff feel good and carving out space for stuff. But this template, just dropping these files in here, has gotten me 70% of the way there. The rest is just carving out the space in the frequencies for stuff that's messing with other stuff, balancing out the levels on things, and then being able to do the automation work, which is the fun stuff. So that's the Studio One template in a nutshell. It gets the job done for me, and I hope you guys are able to use this and be able to, you know, kind of get things kind of moving with that or what have you. So you can get the Studio One template right now for $49.99. It's on sale for the intro price. You can go ahead and grab that and get that in there. I think you guys will enjoy that. So it's on sale right now. Make sure you go ahead and grab it. That QR code right down there in the corner, if you screenshot it on your phone, it'll take you straight to the website, and you can be able to jump and grab it or what have you. So that's that for that. Again, just overviewing the template, all of the All of the buses are routed. Everything's set up for you to be able to do what you need to do. We have basic EQ compression settings on each of the channels, and you can kind of play around with those, tweak to taste. Buses are routed for you. We have built-in drum triggers. We got kick triggers. We got snare triggers, and we even got a rim trigger for you for those ballads that you want to use that sound really, really good. That's all built into the template. You have mix scenes. I covered that earlier. You can really see it in action here. So if I just want to focus on the perk, I can literally just double click on the perk scene. Now all I have in my view is the perk and the drums. And then when I go to the mixer, all I can see is perk and drums. The same with bass. If I just want to see my bass, I just want to work on the guitars. That's just guitars. There's just keys. So, but you know what I mean? I can work on keys.
Said I can't breathe.
But I still got buses for my all music and my all Vox. So if I need to, if I'm working on the keys, I can just turn the vocals down. Like I can.
Without you. Everything.
You know what I mean? So that's in action. If I'm working on aux, I can jump over here to aux and work on that. Horns, I can jump over here and work on that. BGVs, lead. You know what I mean? If I just want to work on my effects, there's all of my effects buses. What I like to move in is this bus mode right here, especially because I'm working in the mixer. Now all I see is my buses, my drum bus, my bass, because this is where I'm doing all my work, especially once I have locked in all of my volumes at the track level. I'm not even looking at the tracks anymore unless there's a problem with something individually that I'm hearing that needs to come up. Then I'll go back to, say it's something in the aux that's missing, and then I'll jump back over here to my aux scene. Sorry, I had to go back over here. I'll jump over here to my aux scene, and then I'll see what's going on over here. But once I've locked my volumes in, I'm not going back. I'm literally just going to jump over here to my buses, and that's all I'm going to be looking at when I'm mixing. Because if you're working on a track that's got 100 plus tracks, 120 tracks, 80 tracks, 50 tracks, you don't want to be looking at all of those tracks or trying to, if I come back here, you're trying to get in here and you're like, oh, you're in the mixer and you're hearing the drum section right here. And then you're like, oh yeah, man, what's going on with that lead? You got you got to scroll all the way down there, just to get to it. It's a little bit annoying when you can just literally just say, oh, what's going on with the, with the lead. I can literally just hit here and down, and boom, now I'm at the lead. You know what I'm saying? So that's clutch. That's built into the template. Everything is grouped for you guys. And if you want to get back to all tracks, you can just click all tracks and boom, there's all tracks. All right. All right. So that is the Studio One template, boys and girls. You can grab this right now on the website. You can hit that QR code. It will drop you guys straight on the website, and you will be able to see this particular thing, and you can check out our other templates that we got on sale. We have the Logic for iPad, for all you iPad users. It's on sale for $19.99, and you can get to mixing on your iPad, boys and girls. Then the same for our Pro Tools template is also $49.99. They're all on sale this week. The gospel mixing, the Logic one is for sale. Studio One is for sale. So make sure you guys go and support. It helps us keep this thing going. I love doing these. I love teaching. I love training. I love working with you guys. I love pouring out. And this is how we keep the lights on. So I appreciate you guys' support on all of this. All right. I appreciate you guys.
Let's go. Said I can't breathe without you.